So I've had a couple of weeks off making videos, but I've got a half-built guitar body and a half-built guitar neck, and I need to crack on with it. So let's get back into the swing of things and get this thing progressing now.
Now the first order of business today is to install some frets. I've gone for some pre-cut, pre-bent Jim Dunlop stainless steel fret wire. I've used it in the past and it works fine. I've previously already marked out where the fret slots are going to be, but I've since radiused the fretboard so those slots are shallower towards the edge of the fretboard. So I'm just going to go back following the radius and make sure that we've got a consistent depth for the tang all the way across. Now these fret saws are cool. They're supposed to have 2 screws so you can set the depth of the cut. Now one of those screws fell through one of those dog holes on my bench, never to be seen again. I've spent ages down there and I'm not finding it. So we're using some masking tape to hold it in place. It's not stupid if it works. Just going to do a quick test fit to make sure that the fret wire is going to fit into the slots nicely, which of course it does. So now we're going to go through and hammer them all into place, starting with the top, then the bottom, then hammering out the middle to make sure everything's seated all the way across. As you can see, having a quick check to make sure that it's seated properly and it's flush with the actual fretboard. You can get fancy fret presses that are going to press it in consistently across the whole width of the fret, but to be honest, I just don't think that the cost of them is worth the benefit that they give. I've always hammered them in and it's always been fine, so that's just one of those tools where for me, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. Plus, hammering in frets is really satisfying. I'm going to shut up now so you can watch me do it. Okay, now that's enough of that, you get the point. Now as you can see, we've got fret wire installed all the way across, probably not very comfortable to play right now, so we need to snip these down and make sure that they're flush with the side of the neck. And it's time to literally just dust off the fret clippers now. I run a nice tidy workspace, as you can see. It's just a case of going through and snipping them all off. Now these do like to ping everywhere as you're doing it, so you could wear safety glasses, but I'm sure if you just employ the safety squint method, you'll be fine. Doing the first side is fine, but coming back the second way, you definitely start feeling this in your forearms. Now as I snip the last one, you can see that I've probably left a couple of mil of fret wire either side. Even though these fret snippers are kind of ground down to get as close as possible, they're always going to leave some left. So I've got a few mil that I need to grind down. Now this is a new tool which I've just bought, which is really going to help me out. Essentially it's a piece of wood with 2 files wedged into it. One at 90 degrees and then one at maybe 30, I don't know. It allows you to use one side to grind down flush to the sides of the fretboard, and on the other side you can apply a bevel, which is going to make your job of smoothing out the fret ends much quicker. Now when I saw how much I had to grind down, I did think I might be there for days going backwards and forwards to get this in place, but actually it probably took less than 5 minutes per side, so I was actually quite impressed with how quickly it does grind down, even with stainless steel frets. It's certainly nowhere near as bad as hand sanding a radius into a fretboard. That takes forever. This is actually quite an enjoyable experience. You can get through it really quickly and the results that you get are really nice and smooth. So as you can see on the bottom here, we have the side that I've just ground down. That's nice and flat and flush. And on the top, you can see how much I've ground down within that 5-minute period. So in summary, fret presses, not worth it. Fret files, definitely worth it. I think there's about 20 quid on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to go check it out. But I'm really glad I've got this. I now just need to level and crown the frets, but that's pretty dull, so I'm going to do that on my own, I think. Now the more keen-eyed of you might have noticed that I've not got holes in the headstock yet. Normally I'd have them in by now, and I'm not entirely sure why I don't, so I should probably put them in now. Now I'm going to do a bit of a faffy way of doing this to attach the original template that I used onto the headstock and then mark out where the holes need to be, because I didn't make any marks when I made the template anyway. And straight away I fall into the trap of forgetting that this is a reverse headstock and I put the masking tape on the wrong side. Let's hope that's the only time I make that mistake and I don't make that same mistake but with bigger consequences soon. Let's hope. So this template has tiny little holes in the headstock, so I'm just going to mark out with my drill exactly where those holes are, mark the centers and then come back with the right size drill bit to cut them out properly. And as this is already shaped and down to thickness, it's important to make sure I've got a backing block on there so don't blow out the back and have loads of tear out on there. Yep, that looks about right to me. Now every guitar needs a logo on the headstock, and there's lots of ways you can do it. I've tried water slide decals in the past. I've tried inlaying part of the fretboard wood into the headstock as well. But today I'm going to try using my laser, because I've got a laser, so why not? All I'm doing here right now is just using some masking tape just to mask off the area that I really want to focus on, so I can center everything on the laser and I know where I'm targeting. My laser doesn't have a camera built in, so it's one where you actually mark out the area, mark the perimeter of the area you want to be able to engrave, and then you can see that on your computer, and then you can upload your image and set it how you want. So it's actually pretty straightforward. I'm just marking out the square, having a good think about making sure it's in the right place, and then it's just a case of throwing it in the laser and uploading the file. If you're interested, this laser is the X-Tool S1, and I do have a full video review of this on my channel, so go check that out if you're interested. Now here I'm just marking out the area to engrave by putting the crosshairs in one corner of the rectangle that I've marked out, pressing this button here, and moving the crosshairs down to the opposite corner, pressing the button again, and then the laser knows exactly where the workpiece is, the area that you want to engrave, and you can position everything on your computer. I didn't press record when I was using the cool laser thing. I stood here like an idiot and filmed it. I didn't press record. Good day. Yeah, great. Anyway, it looks like this. Not too shabby. Exactly where I wanted it. Not the most intricate logo in the world, but initials will do. So I felt pretty stupid missing the actual laser footage, so I decided to put a little bit of a serial number on the back. Basically just putting that this is the second guitar that I've made on this channel, and that I made it in 2025. So when I'm an old man, I can look back and I can work out what this is and when I made it. So here you can see the actual laser going through. This is real time. It took less than a minute to do this, which is really great. But oh, this is fantastic. I finally managed to record, press the button, and we're going to get the footage on the channel. Brilliant. And around about this point, I realized something. Live reaction of me making a mistake. Can you tell what it is yet? Remember that mistake I made earlier? Right, that's done. So let's have a look and see what's happened. And that looks all fine for a normal headstock. This is a reverse headstock, so it's going to look like this. Idiot. Absolute idiot. Not happy with himself, look at that. You can also see why I wear hats most of the time. Anyway, nothing that Festool can't fix, so we're just going to pull this off and do it again. The good thing about lasers is it's really top level, so you can remove it really quickly without damaging your workpiece. This is just a prime example of when you're trying to film something and do something at the same time. Often the results are less than ideal. To continue the theme of building this neck in a weird order, I'm now going to install the nut. Don't know why I've not cut the nut slot yet. I've marked out where it is, but I've just not cut it yet. So let's do that now. I'm using a Tusk nut. It's just a brand name, it's plastic, it's not made out of actual tusk. The last time I made a guitar, I carved the nut out of cow bone, but the way things are going today, I'm probably going to breathe in a load of cow dust and give myself mad cow disease, so let's stick to plastic this time. Always a good sign when you can friction fit it and can't get it back out, and I think that's pretty tight, so happy with that. Let's keep it moving. Now that the neck's pretty much there, it's time to start thinking about attaching it to the body properly for the first time. Now, as soon as I came back to this body, I straight away realised that I wanted to have another go at the body contour that I built on there. I made it first time using Japanese pull saws and chisels, and it was just a little bit soft and round. It wasn't really giving me the crisp lines that I was looking for. I've since then invested in a Shinto rasp, which is really good at removing material, and as you can see here, it gives a much nicer, crisper line. This is just when it's been roughed out, but you can really carve your shape out nice and quickly. So what I've done is just carved it out, crisped up that line, and then just gone back over with a sander and fixed that within a matter of minutes. I can then just use this neck plate, then just mark out exactly where I want the holes to be to fix the neck to the body, And then there's only one thing left to do. Not really a proper reveal just yet because the neck's all taped up for fret dressing, but it's always good when you can put it together for the first time and start to get a feel for the shape and what you've actually made. Now that the neck's on, I can start thinking about positioning the bridge and working out where it needs to sit. Now this did not go as smoothly as I intended. So first of all, what I'm doing is just marking using a straight edge to mark out and extrapolate the size of the fretboard, and then using that I can then measure the distance between to find the center line, center everything on the neck. I can then measure from the nut to the bridge, which I need to be 25.5 inches, and mark out exactly where I need the bridge to sit. All pretty straightforward, pretty normal, pretty easy. I'm going to be installing this Wilkinson M series bridge. I've used Wilkinson parts quite a lot in the past. They're really affordable, and especially if you're going to be buying a lot of them to build guitars, then it just works out best for me. You can obviously spend as much as you want on bridges, but I think these do a good job. So now that the bridge is exactly positioned where it needs to be, it's time to pre-drill the holes for the screws that's going to hold the bridge down. I even thought ahead because these are quite small screws, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to use my power drill to screw these in. I'm going to take my time and screw these in by hand. I'd hate to have an accident and damage a screw or something. You know, that'd be awful. Guess what this face means? Pretty sure that's not supposed to look like that. So yeah, the screw head is snapped off completely. It's completely flush with the body, so I can't pull it out with pliers or untwist it. Can't drill it out because that's not worked. In these situations, all you can do is have a sandwich and think about your options, because hungry boys don't make good decisions. I'm kind of pretty stuck here. In the end, I decided the only thing I could really do is just slide the bridge forward ever so slightly, and then hope that I can adjust the saddles, move them backwards, and still end up around about the same place, so I get the intonation working and everything kind of fits where it should. That is going to have a knock-on with this bridge because it does mean that the cutout for the pickup cavity isn't exactly where it needs to be, but I'll just come back and ride that out later. I mean, of all the things involved in building a guitar, screwing down a bridge should be one of the easiest ones. I don't know if maybe the pilot hole is a bit too small, maybe the fact that it's going into epoxy and it's quite a small screw, but yeah, that wasn't ideal. Either way, the bridge is down now, so I'm just marking out exactly where the string through holes are going to go so that I can start thinking about putting the ferrules on. Now that is a more difficult bit. It's really difficult to drill all the way through the body, come out the other side and have your lines in somewhat of a straight line. I would use a drill press, but mine just isn't quite big enough to fit all the way through and reach the middle of the guitar, so that's not going to work. So instead I'm going to opt for using this drill press stand. And what I'm going to do is drill through about 3/4 of the way through all the holes, and then come back on the 2 outside holes, drill all the way through, which gives me 2 marks for referencing where I want to install the ferrules on the back. Now I 3D printed this ferrule guide just to try and give me a hand with positioning the holes. It's probably not going to hold up very long, but 3D printing them means you can pop them out really easily every now and again when you need them. So this is a bit of a new one for me, but the plan is I'm going to stick this down with double-sided sticky tape, using the 2 holes that I've already drilled as a bit of a guide for where to position things, and hopefully I've got a really nice drill guide so I know exactly where to drill my holes. I'm just going to start by saying now, you always get at least one wonky, don't you? Even on good guitars, there's always one that's slightly out of line, so I don't want you being too critical if one of these doesn't line up, just saying. So you need to use 2 bits here because you need to countersink the ferrules essentially, so you're going to have a couple of mil with the wide bit, and then about 6 or 7 mil with the narrower bit, which is then going to hold the body of the ferrule. And as you can see, I'm then just going to whack them in with a piece of wood, just trying to make sure I don't mark up the back of the guitar with the massively oversized mallet. And now we have our ferrules all perfectly in line. I mean, don't look at that one, but all the others are. But after snapping that screw the first time round, I decided to upgrade and I picked up one of these packs of Guitar Maker's screw sets. They're really good. They actually have loads of different types of things that you need. So you've got the big screws for holding down necks, you've got screws and springs for pickups, you've got tiny little screws for pick guards and things like that. It's really handy to have everything in one place, so you've always got something if you need them. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to go check that out. That said, if this screw snaps, this whole thing is firewood.
Now this thing has thrown up some curveballs for me this week, but we've persevered and we are getting there. It's really starting to come together. I think I'm running out of time for this week though, so I think that's probably where I'm going to have to leave it now. Next week, I'm going to have to finally stop putting off polishing up the top and revealing the pattern properly underneath. I'm also going to be installing the pickups, hopefully some strings. You never know, maybe this thing will be finished. So if you want to see how this turns out, then please do like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.